Hello everyone, and welcome to 7th grade Math Module 1, Ratios and Proportional Relationships. In this video, we're looking at Lesson 10, Interpreting Graphs of Proportional Relationships. Our learning goal is to make sure that we can explain the meaning of an ordered pair on a graph. This will help us master Standard 7.rp.2d, explain what a point x, y on the graph of a proportional relationship means in the terms of the situation, with special attention to the points 0, 0 and 1k, where k is the unit rate. Let's start off with some things we'll need to know. Whenever we are explaining in a sentence the meaning of an ordered pair on the graph, we are generally going to set up our sentence with if there are, and then our x value and its amount, then there are, and our y value and its amount. So for example, if we had the ordered pair 3, 5, where 3, our x value, is the number of cups of sugar, and 5, our y value, is the number of cups of flour, then we could explain the meaning of our ordered pair by saying, if there are 3 cups of sugar, then there are 5 cups of flour. We don't just want to list out our amounts and their units. We want to make sure that we are connecting them. That's saying if we have the y amount, or the x amount, then we have the y amount. Below is a graph modeling the amount of sugar required to make Grandma's special chocolate chip cookies. Remember that our graphs are set up with our x values along the bottom and our y values running vertically up and down. The first thing we are going to do is record the coordinates from the graph. What do these ordered pairs represent? Remember, when we write coordinates, we put our x value first, followed by our y value, and that we put them both in parentheses separated by a comma. You can pause the video now to write down the coordinates that you can find, and then write down a sentence using the one in our example before to say what these ordered pairs represent. I went ahead and found 2 coordinates from our line. You could have found many others and different ones. For the coordinates 2, 3, I can say that this represents that if Grandma has 2 cups of sugar, then she can make 3 dozen cookies. This is a bit different from our example sentence. I can make adjustments to my sentence to better reflect what is happening in my word problem. If I write a sentence for the coordinates 4, 6, my sentence is the same. The only difference is that I replace the x and y values with those from my new coordinates. Grandma has 1 remaining cup of sugar. How many dozen cookies will she be able to make? Plot the point on the graph above. So, as we saw from our graph before, our dozen cookies is y, and our cups of sugar are x. You can pause the video here if you would like to try on your own to find how many dozen cookies Grandma can make with 1 cup of sugar. In this problem, since we only have 1 for our x value, we are looking for a unit rate. So all that we need to do is take a y value from our coordinates and divide it by an x value. Remember again that our coordinates are listed with the x value followed by the y value. So I took my coordinates of 2, 3, and I took my y value 3 and divided it by 2, and I got 1.5. You should have gotten the same answer with any pair of coordinates that you chose. How many dozen cookies can Grandma make if she has no sugar? Can you graph this on the coordinate plane provided above? What do we call this point? You can use what we've talked about in previous videos with equations or our fact families to take the 0 sugar for x and solve to see how many dozen cookies, y, Grandma can make. So if I write an equation using our constant of proportionality 1.5, I get y equals 1.5 times x. If I substitute our 0 cups of sugar in for x, I find that we get 0 for y. our coordinates for this point would be 0, 0. We call 0, 0 the origin on our graph. So, if I was to explain this in the context of the problem, we would say that if Grandma has no sugar or 0 cups of sugar, then she can make 0 dozen cookies. Makes sense. If she has no sugar, how can she make cookies? What does this video make you wonder about explaining what coordinates mean from graphs of proportional relationships? Write them down so that you can ask a classmate or teacher or search the internet to try to find answers for your problems. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you learned from your failures, then you succeeded.